So what I'm dealing with today is my camper's 30 amp plug is kind of melted. No, it's not from water. This is actually from all the components in the camper, causing this to run at or near capacity for long periods of time. So when campers were manufactured years ago, the 30 amp outlet was undeniably plenty for the camper. But for convenience, larger air conditioners for the bigger camper, the hot water heater, they come with an electric function in addition to the gas. So the air conditioner draws about 16 amps, and the hot water heater certainly is not on all the time, but it can be used to maintain the temperature in the hot water tank so you don't use your gas supply. That's about 8 amps. So we're already at 24 amps with the two of those, but again, it's not running all the time. Once your batteries are charged up, you're pulling about maybe half an amp to 1 amp with the battery converter, and any other 12 volt systems that you're using will pull off the converter, which will add to it. Probably you'll see that mostly in the nighttime operations. Add to that the occasional use of the microwave, and of course the refrigerator's electric option in addition to, or instead of the propane use. That will pull about 600 watts. So adding all that together, you're running 25, 26 amps constantly. Because I don't think a circuit is really intended to be used at its 100%. So we're going to have to replace this because it's so damaged. At this moment, I cannot even run just my air conditioner by itself without this heating up. And you can try and clean these off. I've cleaned them off before. The other point of failure too is at the campgrounds, their receptacles. I mean, if they were to go around and replace all of them, that would be great, but you know what the cost would be if they had to do that. But from years and years and years of repeated use, they too, you know, if this is getting hot, you know, those are getting hot. And so when you plug in a good plug into the receptacle, you know, it's not going to make good contact, and thus any resistance is heat, and it's going to damage this. So let's go ahead and try and replace this. So I went online. I bought this one here. Looks like Conntek. There's their web address, conntek.com. No relation to the company. I basically just selected this one because it's got to fit back into the holder where the cord goes. All the other options, that would not happen because it's significantly larger. So let's go ahead with the repair. Alright, so here I cut off the original plug on the camper. You can see the colors of the wires that are inside. Green for ground, right over. Black is your hot, white is your common. You can take apart the new plug. So a couple of screws, Phillips heads will allow the top to pop off. In the back you can see the set screws that are used to tighten the wires into the plug. Using a straight head. So to cut the wire, now this has already been cut, but what I find it's easiest to do when they have the strands going through there is you don't want to slice through the strands as you're trying to cut a section off. I cut about 6 inches. So what I'll do is with the whole assembly is that I'll take a razor knife and I'll just cut and I'll score it while it's under pressure. And when you do that, the rubber will start to peel. And if you do it gently, you can do it without cutting the insulation on the inner strands. So you can see it's starting to pull away there. Okay, so this has already been cut. I've already fed it through the outlet assembly. Okay, I turn these around and they're on the correct sides. So now I'm going to wire them into the head. Okay, so trimming off about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. Having this will slide into this opening here. It is labeled on the back of this, by the way. The camera will not. Oh, it will show it. You got a W right here. So that's where the white goes. That's where the green, and that's where the black. Okay. So white, we'll put in there first. So this is going to be snug. Alright, so I had to shorten the wires so this would fit together, but I have my wires assembled. There's the white wire, black wire, this terminal here, and the green one is at the top. So now I'll put this all back together. And these screws are a little tricky to line up, not like your typical 30 amp twist lock, and you have grooves where this white cap would fit onto the back. So undoubtedly I'll have to do better power management, because I suspect that this plug will probably do the same thing that the original plug did. Although I noticed that the original plug, these blades were like folded over, and so like two thin pieces of metal joined together. This looks like a solid piece of metal, perhaps maybe thicker, I don't know. But I may be using more propane to support things like the water heater and the refrigerator and stuff. If I'm going to be using the air conditioner often, as some of us campers may do. So we're all assembled and ready to go.